Give me 10 minutes and I'll teach you the exact skills you need to get 10 times better in web design. I won't show you the exact code you need to write or the exact designs you need to copy. I'll give you the knowledge you can use to make unique and beautiful websites that aren't just a copy of someone else's work. So let's talk about colors, because color theory is not just for artists who draw, it's also for designers and also for web designers. So there are multiple ways to go about colors. You can use same color but different shades, or you can use 2 opposite colors on the color wheel and 2 neutral colors, or 4 contrasting colors, for example like Google does, or you can use black and white. Those are acceptable ways to go about colors. There are also other ways like 60-30-10 or things similar to it, but also those are the main ones and those are proven to work. And if you want to make sure your website won't flop, then this is the best way to go about it. That's all we're talking about. Let's continue. What you should not be doing absolutely at all. For example, you cannot use absolute colors like absolute black, absolute white, because here's the thing. If you're using black on white, like 100% black on 100% blue white, if a person is on your website and trying to read things, it will be way too sharp on their eyes will get tired, even if you can't feel it right away, or if you can't notice it, then sometimes it just like comes with time, or it might be, even if it's fine for regular people, let's say it's okay, like most people find it alright, it doesn't bother them. There are people with conditions which would just decrease user experience. It's just not good at all. So you can use white and black, just like not 100% black, just make it slightly lighter, or not 100% white, make it slightly grayer, things like that. We're not using 100% absolute colors, but we're also not using mid colors. Get it? Colors in the middle. For example, gray is between black and white, like exactly in the middle, and we cannot be using it because let's say you have black or white background. You can't use an item that's gray on it because it would have horrible contrast. Same thing goes for text. If you want to put text on a gray background, if you put white text, it's bad contrast. If you put black text, it's also bad contrast. So we can't really use it anywhere. So why bother? It's like, just don't use those colors. It makes life simpler. And what you should be doing. Again, this is just more details and examples of something you can be doing. Opposite colors on the color wheel, and plus 2 neutrals. For example, this right here, yellow and purple are opposites on the color wheel, and this is just a light neutral colors. For example, this one is light white with a shade of blue, and this is dark with the shade of blue. So both of them are shade of blue. This one over here, green and pink, opposites on the color wheel. Then white, beige kind of thing as a neutral light color, and also dark brown for neutral dark tone, that color. Or you can use same color and different shades. For example, if you need dark, use dark blue. If you need light, use light blue. That's simple. It's all one shade. It actually can go really good together if you fit the vibes, if you make sure the website is all very well put together, then it's actually an amazing move, and I've seen it be done right or done wrong. But let me tell you, when it's done right, it's amazing. So let's go on and see more of it. You can use 4 contrasting colors, which you can see in Google. Like this is literally colors taken from the Google logo, kinda, somewhat, For contrasting, you need to make sure they have high contrast, because if not, then it might be an issue, something like that. This one over here is also 4 contrasting colors, but also it has light and dark neutrals, get the idea. And then you can use, I just put buddies on the color wheel plus 2 neutral colors, because buddies on the color wheel are not the opposites on the color wheel, they're the opposite, they're next to each other on the color wheel. For example, green and yellow, or purple and blue, they're pretty close to each other on the color wheel, that's why they're buddies on the color wheel. And 2 neutral colors just to be able to use the color theme specifically, Here it's like with the tints of blue, here it's with the tints of brown. The next one right here is actually the color wheel. See, in the previous example, I shown green and yellow, which were the buddies on the color wheel because they're next to each other. And so right here we can see purple here, yellow here, they're on the opposite sides of the color wheel. You could also use green, I think, yeah. And so here's the palette we can do. We have purple, yellow, they're opposites on the color wheel, and we add dark neutrals. These are with a tint of yellow, somewhat green, like kind of lime color, you know. And this is just dark black kind of thing with a tint of purple. So what do you need to make a color theme? You need main color, secondary color, light neutral, and dark neutral. Those are the colors you need to make a website. So let's continue. Next topic I would like to cover is actually fonts. This might be crazy, but you actually can make your own fonts. Me and also many other people kind of don't get the idea of it, you know. You get the habit into taking fonts from Google Fonts and you completely forget there's way more to it. So let's get started and talk about fonts. Their text sizes, their text fonts, what kind of fonts should you be using and how you should use them. So there are two main kinds of fonts. There is sans serif or serif. Those are the main two kinds, and everything falls into those categories. Also, there are like creative fonts, which I kind of don't go either way, but it's fine, we'll cover them later. So sans serif fonts. They're modern, they're clean, they're minimalistic. Serif fonts. They're trustworthy, they're aged, and they're elegant. So for example, if you're making a modern style website, you'd use sans serif. If you're making like old style website, or maybe something you want people to like be more reliable on, maybe something like that, you get it, you can use serif font. I'm not saying that sans serif is not reliable, but that's usually the association that goes with serif font rather than sans serif. There's also monoscape font, but we don't often talk about it unless you're making like a space themed kind of website, you know, something like that, because the thing is those fonts are usually made in code editors or just any editors where you write text, because monoscape is where each character is the same amount of space, meaning it's easier to read, and it also might be used better for readability in case you want to make it be better for people who need that. So, custom fonts. You can take custom fonts from Google Fonts, FontSpace, 1001 Fonts, or you can make your own fonts. Whenever I discovered you can make your own fonts, I made 3 in a row. It's so simple, it's so quick. You just go to calligrapher.com and then you make your own fonts there. Or you can use other websites, there are plenty of there, and you can actually make your own fonts. It does not take a lot of time, it does not take a lot of effort, it's really self-explanatory, it's so quick, you should go try it. So, if you decide to make your own font, you will go on Calligrapher and download a template like this. Let me zoom in. And all you do is draw the letters you want over those shades over there. It's so simple. So you use this template and you make a font yourself, pretty much all. This is very, very important. You can get carried away. You can be like, oh, I love this font, I like this font. Hold on, stop. You need 1 or 2 fonts on your website. You need one for headings and one for text. You get it? If there is a massive paragraph of text, no one's gonna read it if it's like some weird font. But if it's a massive heading that's like 2 words and it takes up the whole page, it's massive, then you should definitely add some fun font to it, because then people actually explore it and it's actually looking pretty interesting for them. But not if they can't read it, you know. This is just common sense at this point, so just use it smart. So this one is pretty quick one, it's also pretty boring one, but this is something that must be covered because so many people get it wrong and you should be getting it right. So we're talking about sizes. They're very important. You want to know why? Because they can make or break your website. So for the fonts, your text should be maybe like on your website you should have from 1 to 3 different text sizes. You know, nothing more, nothing extreme. You don't want the person to have to explore so many different font sizes. That's not okay. You should not be doing that. That's a no-no. So you have one main heading, which is like a certain number. So I use viewport height because it's so responsive. It's basically, this text right here is 5 viewport height because it's decided from the screen. Get it? It's like 5% from your vertical screen. Then there's one for body text, which is smaller, and one for subheadings. That's all you need. You don't need anything more than that. And for the padding, you need to have the padding. The sizes for the padding is that you need to have good amount of padding. If you're going for minimalism, then you should have a lot of padding. The opposite. If you're going for maximalism, you have to have little padding. Not this over here, not the first example, because that's 0 padding at all. You need some padding on your website. You don't want to overdo it, because if you're going for maximalism, there's a lot, like, not much empty space, not much free space. But if you're going for minimalism, then it has to be a lot of empty space. So spacing can really make or break your website. There's a lot that goes into it, and I think it's a very important aspect that you should consider when making your websites. If you've made it until the end, please consider liking and subscribing, because obviously you like this video if you got this far. And here's the video I think you should watch next.